All right, let's see how we go. I'm here with Jodie Stewart, who is the CEO of UnitingCare Lithgow. Hi, Jodie.
Hi, Matt.
How are you doing?
Good. The end of a week and a 4-day weekend coming up.
Yep.
It's great.
This was a bit of an idea I had about sharing some conversations with people from our neighbourhood. I kind of grew up on Sesame Street. I don't know whether you were there, but there was this little song about the people in your neighbourhood. So you were one of the people I thought it would be nice to have a conversation, and I'm sure there are others that might be interested in that conversation too.
Absolutely. And if I'm going to be on the neighbourhood, I want to be Elmo.
Oh.
Sport was certainly a lot bigger. There was, I remember playing netball down at the showgrounds growing up, and we'd have 9 courts going at any one time, including 2 grass ones. I do remember that. Sport was very, very big when I was growing up around here. All the usual things as well, hanging out with friends the weekends. Not as much now. The technology now would certainly make growing up around here a lot different, but I still remember, mostly the sports. Growing up with sport around Lithgow was massive. Come to work and work all day and go home. No, my day involves interacting with as many of my staff as I can, interacting with our clients. My work is very much office-based now, which is different from the work I did 15, 20 years ago. Even though I'm still in the same industry, I've sort of progressed from working hands-on with our clients through to a more paper-based model and more management stuff. But I still love getting back and being able to talk to our clients and talk to our staff. I actually had a sister who had a disability who died quite young, and I guess in her memory, and I was interested in the field. And as I left school, I applied and I was successful in getting a job in an institute. And I spent the first 5 years of my career working in that institute before the devolution came along, and those institutes were closed down in favour of the group home model. From there, I had my first child, and straight after that, I started working here at UnitingCare for the Uniting Church, just as a direct care worker. And I've worked my way up from there to the CEO role that I hold today. So really the influence came from my sister originally. And just over the last month, we've probably seen some of the biggest changes that our organisation has had to face, certainly in my 20 years here and in the 14 that I've held the reins for. The main change for us is our dominant service type, which was centre-based disability services. We could not function under those conditions with all the restrictions that are in place in the social distancing. It just wasn't possible. So we've actually had to rethink the way we do things, and we've turned our whole service on its head. And anybody who required a service or needed a service was offered that in-home instead on a one-to-one basis. We have had to withdraw from things that we see as not essential. So we did withdraw from a lot of our cleaning services to some of our beautiful older clients. And what we've done in return is we're actually assisting them by taking on their shopping and their daily routines that they needed to do up in Main Street or in the town, so that they're still getting their essential supplies and services, but without the risk of being exposed to any virus at all. So we've really had to rethink the way we work. From my perspective, I think that this has brought out a bigger sense of love and compassion in people. I think there is a bigger sense of community, interestingly enough, without, not quite sure how to explain it. I'll explain it in terms of an experience I had last weekend. I have elderly parents who I have been wanting to visit, and in the end we decided to take the dogs over and see them at a distance. And it turns out that their neighbour is actually, her and her children are popping their head over the fence and singing out to them every day and making sure that they're okay. And we're hearing stories of that as well amongst our other clients, of neighbours looking in on people where you might not have known your neighbours prior to this. I think that's what I'm seeing from my perspective is a greater sense of community, people looking out for each other. I think initially we heard some real horror stories, particularly coming out of the supermarkets, with all the hoarding behaviour and things like that. And we heard some terrible stories. But now that's sort of dying down and we're really hearing people coming together in the sense of community. I think at the moment there is so much fear and there is so much anxiety. And a lot of that is bred by social media and normal media in general. A lot of the stories you read are negative. You're not reading a lot of the positive stories. And I think as a group of people to build that hope, that we have to be the ones to do that within ourselves. So the actions that you and I take today could help build hope in someone else tomorrow. And I think that's where we need to look for that hope, is not necessarily look for that hope outside of us. We need to look for that hope within ourselves. Some of the positive stuff and the hopes that I have coming from this, again, are drawing on my own personal experience of being at home with my children more often. Suddenly my 20-year-old and 17-year-old are sitting on the lounge with me instead of off visiting their friends of a night, is that we're playing more games as a family. We're spending more time together as a family. We're having movie nights. And I actually feel like I've reconnected with my children in this. So my hope is that that connection stays. And again, that sense of community. I think that's where we need to look for the hope in all of this.